Today we're going over the battle plan for the earth-shaking season finale of Supergirl with star Mehcad Brooks. So get ready for DC All Access. Hey guys, I'm Tiffany Smith, and it is time for DC Nation, where we get an inside look at this week's essential comics straight from the source. There's always new books coming out. This week we've got a lot of. This week we have a lot of number ones coming out.
You're right.
So what are some of the ones that you want to talk about or that you're really excited about for the fans to get their hands on?
Yeah, let's talk about Hawkman #1, actually. This is really cool. This kind of spins out of Metal series. It's written by Robert Venditti, art by Brian Hitch. It is an interesting take on a character that I think is a fan favorite, but has never really flourished as well as it should. And I think it's because the character's always had a kind of complicated history. There's all these different origin stories and people are trying to reconcile them. This is a great start to reconcile the past, where they acknowledge that all these different versions of Hawkman existed, but they don't overload you with that information. So even if you're not familiar with that kind of more convoluted past, you know exactly who he is, and it starts a immediate adventure where he's hiding a relic. He's kind of this Indiana Jones with wings. High adventure, really amazing artwork by Brian Hitch, where he brings the mythology of the DC universe to life. There's these catacombs that have it looks like Wonder Woman insignias and other little hidden like Easter eggs that he's kind of building in that speaks to an ancient past. You basically find out he's been a man that's been reincarnated through time, and that's always been kind of a given. So it speaks to different Carter Hall and Carter Hall, H-O-L, but it introduces all these other Carter Halls from like Krypton and other worlds, and you realize he's being reincarnated not just through time, but time and space. And so he's really trying to figure out who he is and his origin at the same time. It's great to see Brian back in the trenches, drawing a monthly book. He's an artist I've long admired. He brings attention to detail that I think few people do, and it just makes it feel more real. And there's stuff in here, I'll show you one panel I was really, really impressed by. So it's basically, he's doing pages with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 panels, right? Usually those kind of pages look really
overwhelming.
Overwhelming, crowded, and the way he crops it and the shots he pulls, it feels effortless, it looks great. And he's got this shot now where Hawkman's fleeing with this relic, much like Indiana Jones with wings, and he's going through the stream, and it's this faraway shot. You see him kind of fall out of the stream, and there's this rock face, right? This cliffside that but then if you look here, the camera's moved in and he's grabbed a hold of a rock there to kind of stay his fall. But if you look back on it, this is actually the same rock. This is the same cliffside. So it's just a visual trick where he's drawn a background where if you look at this panel, it actually kind of works on that size where you see him grabbing a stone in a much bigger panel, but it also works as 2 separate panels. It's just a very cool visual trick that I just saw and like, wow, hats off, Brian, that's amazing. So just little things like that just kind of blow me away.
Well, I'm really excited for Hawkman #1.
Right.
We also have another #1 coming out, Plastic Man.
Yeah, Plastic Man, #1, absolutely.
What's going on with that one this week?
Yeah, so this is written by Gail Simone and drawn by Adriana Mello, and it is really kind of reintroducing Plastic Man in the DC universe. I don't know if a lot of people know his origin. I mean, he's a character that you see in the Justice League, and you see him kind of literally bouncing around the universe, but he's always been kind of a favorite of mine because he's a character that started out as a gangster and who basically is kind of betrayed by his fellow criminals and then gets doused with a special chemical, which turns him into this big bouncing ball of
There's no way to really make that sound badass, but somehow he kind of still is.
Right. That's why I really like the character, is because he is a ridiculous character within a world where everyone's iconic and so super heroic. He's a character that comes from a dark past, but who wants to redeem himself. And he's got these goofy powers, but he leans into it. He realizes he's never going to strike terror into the heart of criminals, but he's a character that can really just do almost anything. And so a super imaginative character, super funny character, and this is something that Gail's wanted to do. It's been a passion project of hers for many, many years, actually. I remember when I first became publisher, we had a meeting at, I want to say WonderCon with her, and she kind of walked us through this idea that she had. She really brings out not just how funny the character is, how humorous the character is, there's a poignancy to it. You feel bad for the guy because he's a guy that was betrayed and has had a hard time really kind of finding his legs, literally, and being a hero, being Plastic Man is his road to redemption. And it's a great introduction to the character if you didn't know all that. And it also sort of sets up this mystery where he realizes that all the clues point to himself. And that comes as a huge disappointment, and I think again speaks to he doesn't know everything about his past. There's a bit of a memory wipe when he got his powers, and I think it just makes the character really interesting that he's exploring his future as a hero, but also trying to redeem his past at the same time. It's really, really interesting.
I love that. Another one, finding the right creative team on Detective Comics.
Yes.
James Tynion working on that series and wrapping up that storyline, and now starting from a new place. Talk to me about where readers are going to jump in on this comic.
Right, so this is actually a new creative team that are jumping in. It's really kind of a standalone story where it's a psychological thriller with supernatural overtones. To me, it's always kind of tricky because Batman's such a character rooted in reality. So I think what's cool about this is it a superpower that he's basically being kind of used against him, or is he imagining it, or is he sort of hallucinating it? So there's issues of doubt kind of cast into what he's actually experiencing. So it works on a number of different levels and should be really, really interesting for readers. The main villain is Deacon Blackfire, which they bring back with a bit of a twist. He's a character we haven't seen in the DC universe for a while. He comes back a little more powerful, and he's basically convinced a lot of people in Gotham that Gotham was meant to be cursed, that there is no salvation for the city. And so Batman not only has to defeat him, but he has to sort of convince all these people that no, this is, you belong to a crazy cult. At the end of the day, so there is salvation for the city. I believe it, you can believe it. So it really speaks to his core mission and what he believes, more so than him kind of punching out the villain.
There is another #1 coming out this week, the Titans special. Can you talk to us about that one?
Absolutely. So this is a book that spins out of No Justice, and basically the premise of this book is that the world is endangered more than ever. There's a rift in the source wall, and this thing's coming towards Earth, this totality. There are threats that the Justice League can't just handle by themselves, so they're basically going out and recruiting other superheroes to form different groups of the Justice League. So we've got Justice League Dark, we're gonna have Justice League Odyssey, and this Titan special really is about them bringing Nightwing into the fold and him going out and recruiting his own team. And it's really interesting because he's not had such a successful track record in bringing people together. It has often ended in teams dissolving and hurt feelings. And so there's a past to it. It's not like they just go out and go, okay, you, and here we go, we're gonna fight crime and fight evil. It is really an interesting take on the history of these characters, the relationship that they've had over the years, and how conflicted they are in coming together, but that they will put aside those differences for the greater good. And that's really what this series is about in this book. It's Dan Abnett's the writer, and it basically sets the stage for multiple Justice League teams to take on different threats. And it's an elevation of certain heroes from Titan status to Justice League status, and what does that mean, and how do they feel about it? And it's an interesting kind of passing of the baton, and so it really starts here.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jim, for taking the time to talk about the books this week. And I will let you get back to your pile of awesomeness on your desk.
Exactly.
Those are some of this week's must-read titles, and here is a complete rundown of the new DC books out today. There's a lot more cool stuff happening around the world of DC, and here's everything you need to know. From Batman to Mr. Miracle, writer Tom King is behind some of DC's most popular books. And now he's announced that the title of his next series is Heroes in Crisis. Stay tuned to DC All Access for more details on Tom's new brainchild. The Resistance is the newest chapter of the Dark Knight's Metal saga, out on trade paperback. The companion storyline spotlights the battle to save Gotham from an Arkham Asylum outbreak, orchestrated by the Batman Who Laughs. So crack open your copy starting today. On the collectibles side, there are plenty of new goodies for you to drool over, from a Harley Quinn red, white, and black statue by Jay Lee to a Joker Kane prop that'll give you some serious geek swagger. Plus, don't miss the new Batman black and white action figures by Bob Kane, Jim Lee, and Greg Capullo. They're all available this month from DC Collectibles. Meanwhile, Vertigo just announced a line-wide relaunch with 7 new series from some of the most cutting-edge voices in comics. In Border Town, it's up to a group of high schoolers to ease supernatural racial tensions. Hexwives follows a group of witches turned obedient housewives who slowly remember their inherent powers. American Carnage stars a biracial FBI agent who goes undercover to infiltrate a white supremacist group. Goddess Mode explores the dangerous potential of artificial intelligence. High Level is a dystopian mystery about a smuggler transporting a child messiah. Safe Sex champions sexual liberation in a world where the government regulates pleasure. And in Second Coming, Jesus returns to Earth and is horrified to see what has become of his gospel. The new series will start rolling out later this year. And finally, DC and Snapchat just announced a contest for fans to design their own DC Snapchat lens. The winning lens will debut at San Diego Comic-Con, and the fan that designed it will get flown out for a complete DC experience at the convention. For more details and the official rules, check out dccomics.com/snap. That's the news for now, but there's plenty more to come right after the panel of the week. Supergirl is wrapping up its epic 3rd season this Monday with the finale titled Battles Lost and Won. We've got Mehcad Brooks, aka James Olsen, here to fill us in on what we can expect from the Girl of Steel's final clash with the World Killer.
So in the season finale for season 3, we have a lot of the same that we always do with, trying to save the world. I'm not going to spoil that for you guys. Maybe the world looks different in season 4, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But we have the Dark Kryptonians coming in, and they've terraformed Earth, causing a lot of destruction across National City, and maybe even the metropolis and in between. And the Legion of Superheroes gets together, and Guardian joins them for a little while, and we knock some bad guys out. So you know how it is. You know what we do.
Okay, so what was one of your very favorite moments from season 3?
One of my favorite parts about the season was just working so closely with Katie McGrath, and she's become family. We're like brother and sister, and cousins, and we like a weird sort of dysfunctional husband and wife couple. we're everything. And I revealed that I was Guardian to Katie, and that felt good. Not just about like not keeping a secret as a character, but also just letting a loved one in on it. You know what I mean? And that sort of frees you. It makes you stronger. It makes you more brave, I think. And also apologizing for breaking into her lab. All the same scene, basically, but it was just like this sort of moment of where I could really relate to James as being a man and being like, look, this is how it is, and this is what happened, and I'm sorry if this affects you. Now, what are you about to do? And that's kind of how I am in my life. So I really like the fact that he was able to, the writers gave him an opportunity to come clean and be honest and be a man about it.
So we've talked about the finale. Have you talked to the producers at all about what's going to happen in season 4?
Season 4 is really exciting. I think you're going to see more Catco. You're going to see more of James as the Guardian as it pertains to the DEO.
What I love so much about the CW is that they make sure that the DC characters and heroes are super diverse. So talk to me about bringing Guardian to life this season.
Bringing Guardian to life has been a dream come true. I mean, honestly, like I was one of those kids that was tying the towel around their neck with the safety pin, jumping off the couch, almost breaking their arm, going, I'm Superman, that kind of thing. And ever since I was told I was going to be playing Guardian, I've had that little kid inside of me going like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like just that really, I think that was my actual reaction when they told me, like I'm a nerd. So I think I screamed and somebody dropped their coffee. But it's been a dream come true. Like just to punch people and not get punched back is great, and like to live out these childhood fantasies and get paid for it. Kidding me? It's amazing.
Remember those Batman black and white action figures from earlier in the show? Well, we are putting them together with a copy of the Injustice 2 Legendary Edition, and guess what? We're giving it all away to one of you. For your chance to win, visit dccomics.com/watchandwin and fill out the form with all your info. It is so easy. Even your friend who got trapped on an escalator for an hour when the power went out, they could totally do it. Well, actually, you might need to help them just a little bit. Good luck, and we'll see you next time.